Hello, everybody. It's the USOSA TNN Pro Unitate podcast again. We have a very special guest today. She's the Queen of Talk, if you don't know. The Queen of Talk is with us. She's a very busy lady, but she's chosen based on the fact that she's an alumni of FGGC Abuloma. So it makes her an USOSAN. She's decided to give us some of her time. We're really grateful to have you here. Her name is Joyce Daniel. She's the Queen of Talk, like I said. She's hosted more than 1,000 events. She has over 300 clients and has trained personally over 18,000 people. Okay, now that's a big deal in my opinion. She's had over 17 years on stage. That's as far as I'll go at this point. So you know the kind of personality we have. I'm going to let Chioma introduce herself and then we'll open the floor to Joyce. Thank you, guys.
I'm sure you can feel my excitement where I am.
Oh yeah, I saw you go.
I'm having someone from my school. I'm having someone who has been someone I've known for we've done 25 years, but almost 29 years now.
Yeah.
I'm happy to
almost 30 years.
Almost 30 years, yeah. So this is very special for me. And the reason being, this podcast has been about telling success stories. And I would really be happy and for Joyce to share her story with people. One of the things, if you read her testimonials, somebody said she's very generous with her work. She's very generous with sharing points, giving tidbits to people who are upcoming. And that speaks a lot about who she is because she wants to take as many people up as possible. So we're happy to have you. USOSA will be happy to listen to you this evening. I am Chioma Aninwe, Publicity Secretary, USOSA, and I want to, of course, every time I get to thank CNN for this platform because without the collaboration that we have with them, I would still be having hidden stories. So hard to interview a lot of people on this podcast. So Joyce, you're welcome. I would just say, can you? I know he has said a bit about you, but it's deeper than that. So tell us in your words, who is Joyce Daniel?
You've said it all, really, and I'm so honored to be here. And I mean, this is everything I am today was shaped by my stay at FGGC Abuloma. So FGGC Abuloma USOSA is at the center of my essence. So I would do almost anything for you.
Wow. Thank you.
I will add to the introduction that maybe just a little bit about FGGC Abuloma. I had two other sisters there, so there were three of us who graduated from there. I have two sisters from FGC Port Harcourt. I have a brother from FGC Warri. I have another brother from FGC Port Harcourt. That's my younger brother. Who else? So we are an FGC family of 9 out of 9 of us. Up to 6 of us went to one FGC or the other. So we are 7 of us went to one FGC or the other. So we are an FGC family of 9 children. 7 were one. Now come on, now where you USOSA family? Come on,
You are.
that's true. We need to go and find out if I know any other family that has 7 siblings in one USOSA. In USOSA, record.
Yeah, we only have 4 on my side, so
Okay.
we can't match
We have
up.
3. We can't compete with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've never thought about it before today, so.
But it's something to look at.
Yeah. It is. What else about me besides my work? I speak for a living. I speak because I love it. I speak because I believe that it's empowering. In life, almost any transformation that needs to take place starts with a thought followed by words. So if we are transformers of nations, of communities, communities, then we all will learn how to speak and speak clearly, speak in a way that we do indeed impact transformation. And I live for this. I believe that that's one of the reasons why God made me. And I believe in be fruitful, multiply, replenish. So with your speaking, with your being, with your thinking, be fruitful. That's about me for now.
Talking about speaking, talking about Abuloma, talking about 30 years ago, a friendship between yourself and Chioma. Tell us something special or unique that happened that led you down the path you now are in Abuloma.
Whether it was unique or not, I'm not sure, but it was significant to me. I was the talkative of the class. I believe I was even the talkative of the block. I have my classmates and schoolmates who see me now and go, well, we're not surprised. You did talk, Sha, but we are proud to see that you have harnessed this for something bigger than yourself, more than names of noise makers.
But you're on the noisemakers list then?
I was always on the list. In fact, some teachers will try to watch me or checkmate me by asking me to write the list. So they'll say, write the list. Your name might be number one, but you're in charge of writing the list. There was a senior, name withheld. I was in JS3, I think, and she was in SS2. JS3, SS2, or JS3, SS3, one of them. And I remember we were at the part of the school we called over, which was the main gate, waiting for our cars to go. And I was talking amongst my friends, sitting on a bench, leaning on the gate, and she walked up to us, looked at me, she said, Joyce, you're always talking. Talk too much. Speaking about significant moments, right? And I remember clearly looking up at her, because we were on the bench, she was standing. And I said, one day, you will pay me for.
Wow.
I've never forgotten that day. I had no ambition, no speaking vision or dream. I was just so angry, and I considered myself the queen of clapback. If you give something to me, I will give it back to you times 10. I couldn't find anything else to say that was not disrespectful, that wouldn't lead me to being punished, so I couldn't tell her to dash off. I said, you will pay me. 2-3 years ago, when she sent me a message to say, oh, my organization is looking to this, how much?
You remember?
Did I remind her? I decided not to. She has no clue. I think in fact, if I tell her, I'm sure she'll probably, Chioma, I'll tell you who she is privately. But I remember that day so clearly.
Well done. It was your inner self already building. It's part of your book, I believe, Mastery or Before You Speak. It was your inner self already telling you who you were going to be. And that would have led you forward. Chioma?
I will agree to that.
History.
Okay, so when you look at her journey, you read anatomy.
Yes.
So to the young person who's listening and wondering anatomy, how was there a point where you knew that, where am I spending so much time on this course when I know my path is this way? Because I remember, I think that you had done an MC even at 10 years old, as a 10-year-old.
Yes, 10 years old, and in Abuloma, Miss Dramatic, Miss Press, I was MC myself, yeah.
Yes, so was there any point where you were studying anatomy where you considered you were wasting years? What would you say to the young person who's listening, whose parents have said, whatever you do, you're going to be a medical doctor? So
I would say to them right now,
just want to release an album.
At the end of the day, the pain, the hurt, the shame, the regrets, the joy, the victory will be yours, really, not your parents. So if you have some level of clarity, find an anchor in this wave of seas. The anchor could be somebody else who's done what you want to do. The anchor could be the elevated version of your dream or vision. Your anchor could be God and His Word, if you really believe and not just say you believe. Your anchor could be past experiences that hurt you or propelled you, made you feel good. We call them significant emotional experiences. But by all means, find an anchor and hold on to it. My parents didn't dictate to any one of us what to study. That came from Abuloma.
Wow.
From that unspoken presentation that science students were better than art students. It was never clearly said, but it was insinuated. Science students were in A, B, C classes. Some of them were in D, E, F, but we had more of the people we thought social science and art, or we know future ambitions, right? The core in my set, at least, and then I can think of the set before me and my sister's set 95 and maybe even 94, maybe a Tulan set 93. I can think to them, and there was some sort of unspoken pattern. That's where it happened. So I felt with my level of intelligence and the level of the intelligence of my siblings before me, because Abuloma teachers will always remind me, Joyce, Amen, you are the third Amen child in this school. Your sisters were always first and first three. They were always top of their class. They had 90 and above, blah, blah, blah. You have no business being this. So there was some level of, okay, so if you're in science class, you should be one of the most intelligent. And if you're not in science class, then you're not one of the smartest. And so it was a bit confusing. There was no clarity of shine wherever you are. So I wanted to be a medical doctor to fulfill that unspoken presentation. Hence, I struggled, or like my people will say, I struggled. I struggled. Struggled to stay in science. Failed JAM, or well, didn't get cut off twice. Didn't get maths and physics in SSC. Struggled to go back and get to GCE. Had to write O-levels, Cambridge, just to get all my papers complete. Then got into school, which was tough, and had to do remedial, which is called Basic University of Port Harcourt, just because I was trying to study medicine. And then I was offered human anatomy. After 2 years without being in school, won't you just accept this one and get into school? And then that fallacy, or that, what am I looking for? Castle in the air, that if you have such great grades, you'll be able to switch from anatomy to medicine in year 2 if you make 4 points and above. They didn't tell you how hard it is to maintain 4 points or to even get. So, sometime in my second year, I went into Delta Park, the University of Port Harcourt, somewhere called the Crab, where theatre art students were performing. And I sat down there, Chioma. I don't think you've ever heard me talk about this. And I wept, because I was looking at these students having fun, being my true self, and yet they were cool. And here I was, struggling to be a medical student. But I didn't have the courage to switch over, because I made the inquiry and I was told that I would need to start from year 1 again. I wouldn't need to write JAM or something, since I was like, another 1 year, hey, got it. So that younger person now, I'll tell them that time goes by so fast. It's better to stay back and get what you really want. One of the young people that I have that has been my guinea pig is my first son, David, is going to be 23 this year. I said to David since he was born, boy, you will always be one of the oldest in your class, because you will go through nursery 3, primary 6, gap year before university. Because I want you to go to university, happy to study what you're studying, and being the best and graduating with a first class, because you love it, you know it, you can commit. But that doesn't happen until you experience the world. So yes, he's 22 plus. He is one of the oldest in his class. He's maintained 4.7 average. He's in his third year. He graduated from secondary school, what we call in valedictorian, best graduating technology. But during his gap year, he realized he wants to study something in finance and blah blah blah, and they narrowed it down to economics. And he's so happy why would I want him to suffer what I suffered? Go and study technology, something, because tech is ruling the world. Meanwhile, he said to me, Mom, I realize I don't like it. I'm just good at it. And who wants to just be good at something? Who wants to be good? We also want to be happy. So I'm saying to any younger person now making any career decision, one, time will go so fast. So declare what you want. And anytime you do discover what you want, what you really want, no matter how far you've gone, come back and start again. Now, who is asking me about the pain of going through anatomy?
No.
It's the joy of being Queen of Talk, because at some point I decided, hey, I'm going to go in this direction. So this life is too long not to be enjoyed.
A couple of things. One, I was going to ask, was there a time where you felt really down? But you've answered that already. You've told us how you finally got yourself on track to where you are. I think we have, as humans, a bit of each other in ourselves, because your story is not so dissimilar to mine, where my dad wanted me to read medicine, and before your time it was just Form 5, and in Form 4 you had to choose your subjects, and I did the sciences and I got F9 in all of them, and I knew that it wasn't for me. I wanted something in the arts, and my dad was really mad and angry, and then he went to one of his friends, an enlightened guy in Lagos, and the guy said to him, listen mate, your son says this is what he's good at, why don't you let him? So that evening my dad came back and said, David, you said you want to do history, you want to do literature, what do you need? And I said, oh, just some notebooks, and he did get me those notebooks, and I went into the arts in Form 5, and I did 7 subjects, and I got everything, and I entered Unibank to read history, So what I'm trying to say is we're not so dissimilar in where we find that turning point in our lives. That's not to say there hasn't been any other downs or ups. Anyway, USOSA.
I have a question for you just before your next question. So what FGC did you attend?
Idoani.
Oh, okay, right.
And I'd never heard of Idoani until I went there. So I didn't even choose it. But when
It chose you.
It chose me. Idoani chose me, absolutely. USOSA. We're doing great things, or we're trying to do great things. The association is barely 18 years old this year, I think, or I might be wrong. How do you see USOSA? Can you tell us when you realized USOSA, what your journey has been, or your story with USOSA, and where you hope that USOSA is going to go?
2018, I think, or later. Chioma, when was our first? I think I'm saying, Chioma, when was our, I think we started about the same time. Maybe you started just before me. You were one of those who inspired me to get more involved. What year was I? Was that 2018 or 2019? I think it was 2018 though, where my first real connect was I was asked to MC the end of year activity for USOSANs in Port Harcourt. I lived in Uyo at the time, and Senior Davis Okarivu was gracious enough to bring me in and gave me a pretty fee and put me in a nice hotel to be the MC at that event. And I loved the camaraderie. I think I had joined 1 or 2 WhatsApp groups already, and I might have attended one of the hangouts in GRA, somewhere in GRA. So I just loved that family feel, and the fact that I was meeting many people more than Abuloma, because at some point I had been quite committed to FGGC Abuloma Own Girls from Port Harcourt, the Port Harcourt chapter. My experience has been one of building new friendships, rekindling old ones, being given the opportunity to share my expertise and my experience. I've now emceed maybe 3 or 4 USOSA events, including was that 2019 AGM in Port Harcourt? I think that that 2018 again?
2018.
That was
The AGM
2018. The AGM was 2018, yeah. So I've had the pleasure of doing that. When Chioma asked me the question today about speaking to my younger self, for the first time, I thought, oh wow, USOSA is a really good platform to speak to the younger ones and talk to them about such life-changing decision-making periods, right? So perhaps that's one of the things I want to commit to now, not just for FGGC Abuloma, but perhaps more for FGGC Abuloma and then USOSA. I think USOSA, besides the fact that it's brought so many of us together, because I'm in platforms and I see it happen, and I'm just always so overjoyed by how we don't even know what schools we came from, but now we identify as one. So I think that's great, because things are already so hard in the world. There's a lot of division. So anything that can unite us is welcome.
Amen.
We also are taking positions with things going on in the education space. I see us release our position papers, opinion pieces. I love it. And I believe that that's what we ought to keep doing. And now here we are on a podcast, spreading the word even further, like, come on now, come on, who are we? Who are we? So I love it. Is there room for improvement? That's what's going on here. This podcast is one way to improve. And it's because somebody or some people were thinking about it and have made it happen. So I believe that when ideas come up and people make them happen, execute them, then it gets better. I'm not going to sit here and say we should do A, B, C, D, because it's unfair. Everybody's busy. Everybody has something they're doing. So the ones that are the activities and the ideas that are already being fulfilled, way to go. Let's keep going.
Okay. So I'm going to take you back to talking to younger people, mentorship, because you're big on mentorship. And I know you have a lot of young followers. I know you have a lot of people who you inspire, who want to be like Joyce. Recently, I think it was last week, I added it to a platform and somebody said, oh my God, is she USOSA? And I could imagine, so how many of these that you get when you meet young people meet you or they realize you're USOSA? So I'm thinking, I know you always speak about it. Is there, so they don't think that it's always rosy. There were no times when you also had, we're talking about career down moments and all. So is there something you would want to share so they don't look at you and think, oh, this is the picture of her smiling, of her being on stage? What would you say to them?
It's Joyce.
My name is Joyce. Your name is an anchor. My name is an anchor. I live the fulfillment. Oh, am I frozen?
No, you're good now. You're good now.
Okay. Internet, behave yourself. I said, so first of all, my name is Joyce. I live the essence of the meaning of Joyce, an overflowing of joy. I think it went off. My internet here is strong. So please confirm that you can hear me clearly now.
We can hear you.
Okay, great.
Yes, we can.
I live the essence of Joyce, the overflowing of joy, the multiplication of happiness. Joyce also means leader. So I live it. That's why I'm not surprised. Youngest too. And yes, I remember headmistress, principal, because I was always in charge. I'm the person who always sits in front, tells other people what to do. So I'm setting that tone because there are some things that are bigger than us. They are intrinsic. We'll call them follow-come. They came with you. So I came joyous. I came joyful. I bear my name. 2, I came happy. Wait, it's still my name. Years ago, I was watching the movie X-Men and I saw the guy they call Wolverine, the one who brings out metal from his hands. And he was trying to get to some lady who was pouring fire and destroying the whole place. And as he was getting to her, he was peeling and he was healing. And he was chosen for that task because he was the one who had the ability to heal fast. And as I was watching that, I said, oh my God, Joyce, this is you. Oh, this is you. And that day I just broke down there crying, like, because there are times I've wondered, is it that you're not going through pain in your life, or just forget? And, why is it that you're always up, you're always happy? I'm like, as I hurt, I heal. So I understood that as a special power given to me by God. I cannot lay claim to say I developed it. I will say that when I realized I had this power, I have found ways to reinforce it. So for example, when I was 20 in my third year, University of Port Harcourt, and I now go carry belly. Unwed, leader of my fellowship, leader of my department, I was vice president, my parents were leaders in church, and there was now this scandal. People didn't really know me with a boyfriend, so it was now Joyce doesn't know who was giving her belly. There are so many people in her life, every day for the thief, one day for the owner. So these people who preached to us, yes, at the back, there was a lot. The ones who came to my face to say to me, you know, you're now second hand, you know, nobody will marry you, you know. The ones who went to church to report and say my parents should be taken out as elders in church, Joyce should not be allowed back in this choir. They said it to my face. I'm not even talking about those who I heard of. The ones who came to my face to say, so you think you can come back and sit in this God's holy sanctuary after you have desecrated the altar? And look, I saw it all. I'm not going to take your time with the story because the wound has healed. It's only the scar that's still there, and the scar is for telling stories of victory. One thing that propelled me through that was this child is going to be complete and whole and will never wear, what's that word we use? Oh, it's illegitimate. There's another word, something, what's that other word? Something child, illegitimate. There's one word, this child will never wear on his head, I was born out of wedlock. He would have the love, the pampering. So I bought books on parenting, including the book How to Succeed. I bought it when I was still pregnant. Through my tears, my shame, my fear, my guilt, I needed to learn how to be a good parent. So I learned, and I found anchors. I found anchors in people who had gone ahead of me. I used to sit down and I'll conjure the spirit of Mary, and I'll say, Mary, please, how did you go through this? Where they weren't sure. In fact, yours was immaculate. Mine is not immaculate. So just give me some energy. I will conjure the spirit of Ruth and say, your husband died. Your mother-in-law now told you to go and chase a man. Didn't you feel somehow? Now, see me. I need to go and chase after my life. Tell me how you did it. So I used to sit down in my room in Uniport and have this conversation. That's how I got through that. That's how I got through several other challenges in my life, including divorce. So I have been through, dragged on the floor, hair pulled out, but I will tell you this, I have never spent one night awake worrying. That's never happened in my life. What has happened is I've stayed all night awake wondering, what are we going to do to overcome this? What 2 things? What 3 things? Who do we need to learn from? What course do we need to attend? What book do we need to buy? What do I need to read? What podcast do I need to listen to? That's me. I'm always thinking, so how do we solve this problem? Somebody else has solved it. So who is that person? Where are they? So no, I don't have any relationship with sadness. I refuse, not like it has come and it stayed. I went through 3 weeks of depression. I've not had. Remember, Joyce first. Then I realized that this was the way to go. So I reinforce it and I go, I hasn't fallen down for anybody to fall down for me. Let's sleep. When we wake up in the morning, we'll figure it out. So what is the takeaway from this for people who go through? I had a job that I quit when I didn't know what next I was going to do, but I was not fulfilled in the job, and I quit and I left, and people were like, are you crazy? You don't have an official car? Are you mad? Who does this? But I quit. So those are situations that could have one get the right knowledge. Can you hear me?
Yes, we stopped at those are the situations. That's where you stopped. So
okay.
Rewind tiny bit. Those are the situations that do what?
Okay, those were the situations in my life that could have destabilized me. But what did I do to stay stable? And which is the takeaway I'm asking my younger sisters, brothers, and even my mates and my seniors who will go through it in life. Number one, get the right knowledge, the knowledge for the next level, not the knowledge of what would have been, the regret looking through the rearview mirror. No, the knowledge of how do I get to the next level. Number two, understand that healing takes time, but time does not heal. Two different things. In anatomy, I understand that healing happens because there is the right enzymes for healing. There is the blood clotting mechanism that would work. There is the right nutrition. Time does not heal, but healing takes time. Time is just one of the factors necessary for healing. You need to be able, if you have like one of them, sugar diabetes or something, there is something off with your system. Healing wouldn't take place as it should, no matter how long you wait. So understand that you need time, but you need the other things which you got from number one, which is knowledge. And finally, number three, I would say surround yourself with the right set of people. Either the people you would read their books from, the people who you will have as anchors, or the people who can support you on your journey without reminding you of how much you've lost or what you've left behind. Thank you.
Chioma, she's just shared so much value. Just that part alone, we can actually edit out and put to the audience. There's so much value in what she said. A key thing she said that I'm just eager to talk about is make it happen. She said the people who think about it and make it happen, those are the true heroes, and she said this podcast must have been thought about, and she's so happy that we've made it happen because it's going to take us to the next level. Thank you. Thank you for what you said. Thank you for your support. Again, we always like to talk about the person themselves. Tell us a bit about your background. I know you mentioned a bit about how many children you are. Tell us about your dad and your mom, how you grew up, where you're from. It must be interesting.
Okay, because I'm dying to
thank
ask.
you. I love
I'm dying to ask. But let's
okay. You want to actually answer this one first?
Yes.
My background. Oh, I love to talk about my background because I had a happy childhood. It always brings joy to me. I was born in Warri. My dad at the time worked in Warri in a company called Brosset. He worked in Brosset almost all my life. It was a French company which he sat as country MP. My mom was a police officer. Before I was born, she left the police force just before I was born. So I knew her as a police officer from her photos. She had lots of photographs, loved photographs in their white uniform. So I always would tell people my mom is a police officer. And then they say, oh, where is she serving? And I go, okay, well, she's not a police officer anymore. Because I just loved the fact that she was police. And maybe I could use it to frighten people a little bit. My parents, 7 of us. I'm number 7. Sorry, 9 of us. I'm number 7 of 9. So I'm one of the youngest. I was the receiver of the girls, the youngest of 6 girls. I have 1 older brother, 2 younger brothers. So I was the one who got all the shoes, the clothes, the bag, and the advice, and the dance classes, and don't talk to boys. By the time I was 2, we moved to Port Harcourt, where I grew up till I was done with university and got married in 2009. So 25 years of my life was Port Harcourt. We are originally from Iduele Ewu in Esan Central Local Government of Edo State.
Wow.
So my mom is from Yenagwa in Bayelsa. So I am an Ijo Esan girl. And growing up, I was happy to swing any way, especially growing up in Rivers State. At some point, my mom was Rivers. So it was easy to claim Rivers for I think my common entrance I claimed to be Rivers after the first one. Bendel, cut off for Bendel Life was too high. One for Rivers was lower. So at some point, I chose Rivers so that I could get around it. And yes, I did receive Bayelsa bursary university because Bayelsa is matrilineal and they would honor you if your mother is from the state. Growing up was a lot of fun. It says my internet is unstable. Just give us a moment. Can you hear me?
You're winning. We're winning.
Okay. Oh, fantastic! We're winning. Growing up was a lot of fun. Our home was always full. Besides us, the children, there was always a cousin, other cousins, people's children who were coming to go through NYSC in Port Harcourt. So my dad would come home sometimes and say, "Oh, this person has just coming from Enugu. This person has just coming from Jos. Their father is something, something, something in church. Their mother was my colleague in this. They're Rotarians. Yes, my parents were Rotarians. So I actually loved coming home, and I'll find one new auntie, and they'll say, "Oh, her name's Auntie Michelle. She's coming from Calabar here for NYSC. Or this is Uncle Christian." And I remember many of them, and I mean, talking to me, there's so many I don't remember their names, but I remember what they look like, and they'll tell you stories about where they're coming from, who their parents were. So I loved that. Beans and dodo still remains my best food, I think.
Okay.
Because it struggles some days with okra soup, afang soup, so some days when I'm having my meal, I have beans, dodo, and afang by the side, just so that none of them feels cheated on. I'm a fitness buff. I exercise. I try to eat clean. I lift weights. I lift heavy. I love to read. I love autobiographies. That's my first genre. Then biographies. Then self-help. Then novels. I can get lost in novels. I'm reading a novel right now, written by a Nigerian author who lives abroad. There's almost always a book around me. There's some Grishams here. I can see like 3 or 4 autobiographies, or 5, Viola Davis and co, and other people are here. So I'm a sucker for things like that. I love to hear nice stories. Funnily, I used to sing in church. So now I sing for fun, and I sing for my audiences. I hope to retire. Well, I don't really use that word in the sense of stop working, because I believe I will work till my last breath. But I hope to transit or pivot someday into acting, maybe full time, and not allow that talent of mine just die.
Absolutely.
And thank God for you showing us ways that we can act without being on some of the TV stations. I think that's about it. I keep my hair, this is all my hair from God. Just so you know, meet her. She's my hair. I wear green. The last 7 years, I have worn green and white only. This year, I wore red on my birthday. That was the first time I wore non-green or white in 7 years. Because of love of country and commitment to country, I believe that everything I do should serve the progress of Nigeria. I have been in politics for the last 3 years. I did contest for local government chair. My local government. I did not get it, but I got much more than that. And it's okay to mention I'm a member of the People's Democratic Party, that one true political party in Nigeria. I still am a proud member. I'll leave it right there.
Kudos. Did you run in Edo State or
Yes.
Rivers State? You did.
I ran in Edo State.
So you must know Osea Neni.
That's my guy. We chatted today. We worked together in Afri Gupta's campaign team. He's director of strategy. I'm one of the directors.
Wow.
That's his campaign. It's my regroup.
Wow. TNN did a podcast with Aswe when he was in the UK.
Yes,
anchored by my friend Solomon Aleto.
Yes, so I interviewed Solomon on my podcast, the Aswe TV podcast.
I watched it. He sent it to me. I watched it. That was you. Okay. I'm going to tell him. That was you. Fantastic.
So it's the same TNN. Oh, wow.
Yes. So
this world there.
Yeah. So basically, I hope you're still going to run again, because I know that the grassroots setup that Ose and his people are building, and with your characteristics and your vision, I think you deserve to win that seat, and I think you will be a good representative of our people. So you've got my backing, even though TNN is apolitical. Personally, you've got my backing, okay?
Thank you.
Chioma.
Thank you, David.
Go on, Chioma.
So when you talk about politics, I was going to ask her why politics, what drew you to politics?
Was that the original question you were going to ask? There was one question you wanted to ask for. We should leave that one first.
Yes.
Why politics? Politics for me is a vehicle to leadership. Politics is a vehicle to being in the room where you can decide for a large number of people. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than all of us. Politics decides everything. Politics decides what happens in governance. Governance decides whether you and I have power in Nigeria. Well, anywhere in the world, whether we have power, what to pay for it, whether there are roads, council. It determines everything. So if the vehicle to getting into that room, to making the decision for the large number of us is politics, then that's where I need to be. Remember when I watched the movie and I saw Wolverine and I saw he could hurt and heal, I said, Joyce, that's aptitude for a place like politics where things can get so rough and you get so hurt, but remember you also heal so fast. So why not? I said to the people who were closest to me, I said, I'm too gra not to go into the ring. They know they beat me finished. If you beat me, I go beat you. Last, two of us go. So all this my gra cannot be for only speaking Fune on stage. It's got to be for more. And that's why politics. And a friend of mine, Ubon King, passed on in December 2020. A few days after he spoke at my event, I have this annual event I do online called Wiser, where we discuss the book of Proverbs, one chapter per day. And it's not a religious study, it's studying the wisdom in Proverbs to live life to the fullest. And Ubon King had spoken, I think, on the 8th or 12th of December, and by 20-something of December, he had passed. And that day, I sat and I said, Ubon just went like that. It means nothing is guaranteed. There's no keeping for tomorrow what you can do today. So by February, I was in Benin. I didn't grow up in Edo State. I don't speak the language. My parents didn't grow up in Edo State. I didn't have friends or family in Edo State, but I felt it's time. So what the heck? If you're going to do something hard, what are the steps to do? Number one, get the right knowledge, get the anchors, find people who have done it before you. And I started by studying 50 successful women in politics and governance in the last 2 decades to form my anchor. I did go ahead in my normal way, create a book of it. I went from 50 to 75 to 100 women. I called the book Because They Are, I Am. I haven't published it because it was supposed to be a personal book, but I know I will still publish it because it's for more than us. I've given it to a publisher. We've made it look beautiful. There's a cover and all of that. Why politics was the question. It is the way to affect the greater number for good.
It's also time. It's also time because every generation has a born leader. And once you identify yourself as a born leader, then you must do the necessary thing. USOSA in politics. Sorry, Chioma. Go on, my dear.
So the reason why I asked this question is to highlight a point which I've never discussed with you, because I remember after something happened and you were upset about the decision government took at some point. Oh, you went boggart, you were angry, you did a video, you addressed it and
answers.
Oh, David, you did that to see Joyce. Joyce was mad at a lot of things and
probably saw that video and doesn't know it was me. If we show him that video again, he'll be like, oh, I saw it. No,
he wouldn't believe it. So the reason why I respect that, after that period, he woke up one day and he said you were moving to Benin. Said yes, you're going to enter politics. So he didn't want to just be all about talk, all about getting angry. He wanted to be, what was it you called it? Social engineering?
Social engineering. I want to be a social engineering
practitioner. So you wanted to be the change, not just speaking about it. And that is something I respect so much. I just thought about it. I said, I remember that video. After that video, changed and said, no, politics have to be where they are taking this decision. So well done.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Just one thing about politics. We're not we're not political on this forum, but just one thing. USOSA in politics. What do you think?
USOSA should be in politics. We are the caliber, we are the timber and caliber of people who should be in politics, because number one, we understand unity, and it is division that brings some of the greatest challenges in politics. Is division first, when people are thinking small about only a small sector of people, not the greater. So USOSANs who really carry the essence of pro-unitate should be the ones in politics, so that we can be in different political parties, yet stay united in focus for development. I do not have to quarrel with you because I'm in a different political party. We can actually campaign and work side by side without regard to the platform we emerged through, which is the political party. So yes, USOSANs with the essence of pro-unitate should do the work to study it, to understand it, gain their anchors, and be in politics. And I've seen a number of USOSANs attempt. I've seen a few also thrive, and I believe more of us should be there. And should we have one or two USOSANs in very high places in political arena who are quite self-serving, and I refuse to mention one or two names right now, even though one of them is one of the most senior people in Nigeria right now. And some of them are really self-serving. I don't know where they missed their way. Something must have happened along the way. Or perhaps that's who they always were and we didn't know. But I also see that some of them make concessions and exceptions for USOSANs. So that is its own sort of nepotism that I still condemn. Don't give it to me because I'm a USOSAN. Give it to me because I am qualified, I am the best fit for the role. So striking that balance between what favors me, what favors us, my people versus what is the best for the greater majority. That's where the rubber meets the road. And so I hope and pray that all of us who go into politics will always be able to tell the fine lines.
Now we're going to open the floor to you to ask about USOSA, about TNN. The floor is yours.
Okay, just before I do, I think Chioma was trying to say something. Can we just take that?
Go on, Chioma.
Please?
Yeah, so because of what she said, not making exceptions for USOSANs, it means that at some point there's a gap to cover. What are we doing about it in terms of mentorship? How do we, because sometimes you sit in a room with people who graduated some years after us. Even when they speak, you wonder, are they still products of university schools? Because somehow, with no fault of theirs, the standard is not what it used to be. What are we going to do? Because we need them in those places, because no matter how the standard has fallen, the ideals are still there. I can tell you for sure, because sometimes I speak with my daughter who is in a federal school, and I'm shocked because she says the same thing I used to say years ago. She aware of the things not to do, things that we were taught. So we've not really lost it. It's still in there. But what are we going to do to cover the gap for the ones that have left school? To not to make excuses for them. How do we draw them up? What would you do as Joyce to draw up that USOSAN who you think is not up to standard, but you would want the USOSAN to step up to the standard where she walks into a room and they just give her the job because you know that this one merits it?
Thank you so much for this question. Something I already do, and whilst you're asking the question, I can think of at least 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 younger USOSANs I've encountered in my journey in the mentorship space. And I say to them, nobody owes you anything. You owe yourself everything. So what can I do? I help them vision a bigger life. It's something I offer, and Chioma, please take me up on it. TNN, if you can in any way, take me up on it. To whatever platform you want to bring me to help people envision a bigger life. understand what that bigger life requires, and then make it happen. Full stop. Because when we can make happen more or higher for the benefit of a larger number of people, then we've won, regardless of where we're coming from. And I think that's what I can offer. That's what I do in my space as speaking. You know, remember you said in my profile I've trained over 1,000 MCs. That's those that I have paid at a fee. I have mentored thousands because that's my responsibility. So help them see more and be more, because we cannot give more if we are not more. If we ever, and I wish I could promise that I will champion it, but I know I will not in 2025 because my plate is already so full. If we ever have other mentorship platforms, so this is the podcast. If we ever think of setting up a mentorship platform that people who believe they can run it want to champion within USOSA, and I'm invited from time to time to give my piece, then I'm there. I'm so there.
Thank you so much. But the floor is yours. Ask any question.
So my question, tell me, TNN, oh my gosh, yourself and Solomon, who else is part of TNN? And when you're not hosting the Pro Unitatis podcast show, you, David, what else are you doing? Chioma, I'm coming to you.
Okay. So let me give you a brief history about TNN. 2020. I just come back from 2017.
What does TNN stand for?
The New Nigerian with an N. The New Nigerian.
Yeah.
It's the New Nigerian Network, which is the branch that Solomon runs.
Okay.
In 2017, before I became aware of USOSA, I became aware of Edo politics. And what's his name? Godwin Obaseki had just become governor. So I thought of this idea, created a platform called Edo Now, took journalists from Luxembourg and Nigeria, and we went and did an interview with him. Now, the idea was quite simple. Get the best Edos in diaspora, get them together to work with the government to improve the lot of the Edo people. Unfortunately, I got burnt and I had to run out of Nigeria and come back to the UK. And over a period, I retreated, thought about how I could improve rather than wallow in whatever happened. And I thought about, I'm a Nigerian, I'm a Unity School person. Why can't I be a new Nigerian with those values? So I created a platform and I called Solomon and said, Solomon, come, see what I have. Can we do something? And Solomon was so happy and said, yes, we can. And then we just started bridging the gap between diaspora and Nigeria, bringing the best in diaspora, hooking them up with the best in Nigeria, creating stuff to happen in Nigeria. We're in the agricultural sector, we're in the health sector, we are in the educational sector. In fact, just recently, a week or two ago, myself and Solomon sat down and did a small podcast about where we have come from, how far, what we've done. We'll share it with you at some point. I'll tell Solomon I met you. Anyway, we offer scholarships to children. Everything is out of pocket. We don't have any sponsorships or anything. We do a program called Feed the Children every Christmas. In June, we do hygiene for girls, little teenage girls. So we share pads across the where we can, just to give them a bit of health hygiene. we do podcasts with people who have come to Nigeria, actually relocated to Nigeria. You know, you were talking about a mentorship platform. Richie George has a mentorship platform in Abuja as we speak. We've done 2 podcasts with him, how he was planning to do it. Now he's done it. He's in Abuja. It's a testament for us, you know. I do a bit of work. It's very sensitive in the daytime. For security reasons, I can't tell you what it is. But once I finish that, I concentrate on giving my all back to USOSA, back to Nigeria. I'm not adverse to politics, but I'd rather be in the background encouraging people like you, people like Ose, you know, who are on the ground to make things happen, you know. So that's the short and long of it. There's more to do. There's always more to do. Hopefully, we can work together at some point.
Yeah, thank you. Chioma,
Hey,
I know you are so down to apply. I know you are so. Oh, it's 1 hour. Oh my God.
Fine,
But Chioma, you have to tell us a little bit about you, please.
Yes,
You
we
gotta tell
have
us
to.
something about
I'm
you
sure
when
Joyce
you are
can
not
do us
USOSA in.
When I'm not USOSA in, well, like I was talking about mentorship, my mentor is here speaking on this platform today. We are classmates, but she's also my mentor. And when I'm not USOSA in, I'm a public relations professional. I run Engage PR, which is the public relations agency. So I always say, when people ask me, what do you do? I say, I just make brands look good. I help you tell your story. I help you manage your reputation. So, and I think that's how I would define myself. I just love to make brands look good. Yeah.
You've done a great job with making you tell it good again. Abuloma, you could. I will tell you this, and I've said it privately, but if I haven't said it enough, thank you so much. You make it easy. You make us want to be a part of it more. Thank you, girl. Thank you, TNN, for the great work you do. Thank you, David.
Thank you. It's 1 hour. There's so much to say, so much to do, but everybody's busy. We've got to let the audience go. The audience, our handles are all over the screen. Social media, Facebook, USOSA Facebook, TNN Facebook, YouTube. Our videos, this will be on YouTube, USOSA and TNN. We need your support. Everything we do at the moment is still out of pocket. We need your support to grow. Click the like button, share the podcast, subscribe. It will go a long way to helping us generate revenue from social media. And if you do feel like it, as an USOSAN, I'm sure the SecGen or the PG is happy for a bit of contribution to improve our processes. Thank you, audience. We'll let you go now. Joyce, please hang around. Let's have a tete-a-tete before we let you go, okay? Chioma, last.
All right, from me, goodbye. See you. Bye for now.
Excellent.
Bye.